Welcome, this is Nathan, welcome back to another video. Today we're taking a look at a scenario where South Africa forms an empire. Yep, it's back. I know this has been a long way to return for this series, but don't ask me how long it's been since Pakistan formed an empire. But I'm bringing back one of my oldest series on the channel, well, geography series. What if a country formed an empire? I'm coming back with South Africa. So South Africa, they will be buffed. NATO will not exist, blah blah blah, you know the deal. South Africa is in a very interesting place for expansion. Their neighbours are interesting. They're all weak until, I guess, the DRC in Ethiopia. But South Africa is a country that has a lot of strength over Africa. Until you hit this part of Africa, they have the strength. Nigeria, Egypt, and these two would be the only challenges to them. Sure, DRC would give them a bit of a challenge, but if they're buffed to form an empire, then they would be no force to mess with. So South Africa's first target will be Lesotho, and I don't even need to show this because, well, you know, Lesotho's not going to survive. And the next target, who again I'm not going to bother showing, is Eswatini, who is fully annexed into the South African Empire. And South Africa's next target will be Botswana. So South African troops will begin moving into, well, it's been a while since I've done this. South African troops will begin moving into Botswana at a rampaging rate, and will begin taking out the country with ease. They take Gaborone, I think that's the capital. Sorry, I haven't done this for a while. And after basically wiping out every single easy part of Botswana, they will surrender. So, just like that, South Africa fully annexes Botswana. And the next target is going to be Namibia. Namibia is they're not strong, should I say that. They're very weak. Sorry, I thought I didn't have this for a minute. So, South African troops will begin to move into Namibia. And just like how Botswana went, it's going to go really quick. But we see an outside country join this war to claim parts of Namibia. I need to get yellow. Oh, actually, no, I use purple. I forgot I use purple. Angola will join the war to claim parts of Namibia to try and save the country. And we do, and this is going to be kind of rough to figure out between the two, as they both split up. Botswana Namibia like this, and they will come to terms in the capital of Windhoek. Anyway, in the peace treaty, Namibia split in half, and South Africa will now head over to Zimbabwe and will declare war on Zimbabwe. But we actually have countries around Zimbabwe coming to the help of them. We have Zambia, Mozambique, and Malawi coming to the aid of Zimbabwe. South Africa just looks at them and laughs, because South Africa, they're not something you want to mess with. So Zimbabwe starts to get thrown around like a basketball. As well, South Africa just obliterates everything they have. I would normally try to make this realistic, but these countries aren't strong. And if I'm buffing South Africa, even if South Africa wasn't buffed, South Africa would be having a cakewalk. Maybe not all four of these countries combined, but right now they're fine. So Zimbabwe will surrender over to South Africa, and immediately the downside of Mozambique is their capital, Maputo, is right on the border of South Africa, so we have that capital being taken immediately. And Zambia is experiencing an invasion, as these countries are so weak they can't even hold back South Africa. Angola's not joined this war. One, because they just signed a peace treaty with South Africa. And two, they don't really want to get on South Africa's bad side. So in the end, we see all these countries surrender South Africa. So let's take a look at this peace treaty. And just like that, South Africa's empire is already gigantic. They annexed all of Zimbabwe and Mozambique, and took some land from Zambia and Malawi. And at this point, the next target will be none other than Tanzania. But what South Africa doesn't realise is that the East African Federation will get involved. Now, I know I said lines don't exist, but this one is an exception because it's going to be important for this video. So, the entire East African Federation will join the war. So, Kenya, South Sudan, Uganda, the DRC, Burundi and Rwanda. And just to put it even harder, Angola will join the war as well. I know I said they didn't want to go on the bad side, but this is a war which looks like they could win. Zambia will join the side of them, and Malawi will unite into Zambia on the side of this war, I guess. Just so it's easier centuries for them. But this continues to get worse and worse, as Egypt will join the war, and Sudan will also join the war, because these two decided that they can now get South Sudan back into their country. But oh no, you may have done a mistake, because Ethiopia is now in the war. Yeah, this war is a mess. And again, you made a mistake, because Eritrea has now just joined the war against Ethiopia, as well as Somalia. Yeah, if you can't already tell, this part of Africa is very divided. The ROC would join the war, but they kind of realised that this war is going to lead to the defeat of, the Southern Federation. I mean, there's Egypt, number 1 in Africa. South Africa, maybe actually number 1 now, but number 2 if Egypt's still number 1. Sure, you have Angola, DRC, Ethiopia, Kenya, they're strong, but they're nothing compared to these two. So it's time for hell to be let loose in all these countries. Immediately, where the South African troops were already lined up, they begin invading into Tanzania and destroying the country with no resistance. They begin striking up to Dodoma, and if you don't really know about about Tanzania, their country looks strong, but they're really weak. Yeah, it may sound shocking, they're actually really weak. So we see the Dodoma being captured, and as quick as you can see it, Tanzania is already out of the war. But not to worry, because the DRC is quick to take up any land that may have been taken. Now it's time for our first invasion of South Africa. Angola will begin to invade into the old Namibian lands. Now, the Namibian people don't really know what to think about this. I mean, you're being invaded by countries that invaded you, but they're also technically freeing you. So, the Namibian people are in support of Angola, and Namibia will break away from the South African Empire. South Africa is just laughing and just saying, wow, you took Namibia from us, we're so scared. Troops from the DRC will begin to move out from Zambia and begin to put in the work as they try everything they can to get back all the old lands that were taken from Zambia. But however, South African reinforcements that were going up here just kind of came in and said bye. Unlike down here where they're pushing back, they can't really do anything. However, for up here, South Sudan is getting destroyed to pieces. Sudan and Egypt's power combined is going to completely wipe South Sudan off the face of the earth. Speaking of the same fact, Somalia just got wiped off. But now, the strongest country on the side of the blue team is starting to get invaded. And it's for the worst, because, well, Egypt's going to have no resistance here. Now, Ethiopia's terrain is very, very, very mountainous, so this is going to be one hell of a war for Egypt. While this is happening, we also see Sudan beginning to enter into Uganda, but this is stopped by DRC troops, as well as by here. The advancements by Angola are starting to slow down. However, they're not slowing down completely, but they are slowing down. South Africa will finish the job in Tanzania, kicking all the troops out, and will also and will also wipe out Zambia from the war. And at this point, this is where that plan comes into play, as they begin invading into Angola from a part they had no troops in. As you can see, this is a struggle for South Africa. This isn't taking a few days, it's probably taking months to do. They can't invade into DRC because they're really stretched out on troops. So, Angola will be retreating all their troops from here. And, well, let's just say this is getting ugly for this war. Angola begins to lose land like crazy as South African troops are ready to begin invading. And at this point, Angola will agree to peace. And, well, let's just say when they agreed to peace, their country was looking like this. So Angola will surrender over to South Africa. And this war is really not looking good, as Uganda just surrendered as well as these two. Kenya will surrender, and it's just the two strongest left. The DRC and Ethiopia are realising that if they keep fighting, this war will end in just them being knocked from existence, will also will surrender. And Somalia, they're liberated. And it's a victory for Egypt and South Africa. No crap. It was kind of expected. So let's take a look at this massive peace treaty. And in the peace treaty, South Africa gets massive. They annex like half of Angola. They basically annex all of Zambia except from these parts, and they took some of the DRC. They also took a big chunk of land from Tanzania. They were planning on taking land from Kenya, but they ended up didn't, because their empire was already so big. Anyway, for the remains of Zambia, they're just gonna become part of the DRC. There's no way this could exist as a country. There's literally no way. It's destroyed. We also see the unification of Rwanda, Burundi, and Tanzania. And we eventually see Uganda and Kenya eventually joining on this. So I guess if you wanted to say, this is kind of the Southern Federation, but this is only because their countries are all crippled. The RC isn't going to join this for now, just because they didn't get damaged from the war, and they did. Ethiopia lost land to Eritrea. South Sudan is fully annexed, as well as taking land from DRC, Uganda, and Kenya. And, well, the war was won, and South Africa will have one final country on the list to invade. That will be Madagascar. Yep, they will be invading Madagascar, and I realised that the ocean is the same colour as the map. The ocean is the same colour as the blue I used for the wars. I might have to do something about that, because I'm going to be using this map for all the Empire videos and other stuff. But as you can tell, they take whatever the capital city is called. I know what the name is, but it's such a gobbledy mess. Antananarivo? I don't know. I don't even want to bother pronouncing it. But after taking Madagascar, their empire will be fully complete. So, that's that's going to be if South Africa formed an empire. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and be sure to look out for more empire videos in the future, as the series is now back on the roll. Bye.